Okay, hi guys all over Europe. Hi, I just heard you had so many questions about ROCCA Changes the World, and I'm trying to answer them right here. So, first question, why is Raka always in the same fleshy costume throughout the whole movie? Okay, it's not a costume. It's an astronaut suit like her father and his colleagues wear, and as she grew up in an astronaut training center, she also wanted to have one, and her father just had one made for her that she can also wear it. And I really like about Raka that she is not wearing what fashion dictates and what other people say is great. She just wears what she likes, and she wants to be an astronaut, so that's why she's wearing that suit. Okay, next question. How is that possible that Raka knows how to pilot an Airbus? I think she learned it also in the station where she grew up, in the space training station where the astronauts are trained. Maybe she also is very interested in technical stuff, and maybe she watched a lot of movies. She tried to learn it. Maybe they had this what's it called, where the pilots are trained. Maybe they have the same thing in that space training station. But since Raka the movie is also a fairy tale in some way, it's about a girl who was invented by our great script writer, and maybe that's why she also invented the story of a girl being able to land an Airbus. So I think it's a great story, and it should tell us that you can reach your goals. And even though maybe no kid in the world is able to land an Airbus, it could be possible if we focus on our goals. So maybe that's why. Okay, next question. How did she know that the food was poisoned? I think when everybody throws up and you don't because you didn't eat the food, because you had your own astronaut food with you, then she just figured. Or maybe she also heard it because when she left the airplane, maybe also the people were talking about it. Next question from Russia. Why is the story connected with the homeless? Why not with anyone else? I think our scriptwriter wanted to tell a story about a girl who's helping others, and then she decided, by inventing the story, she decided how she could tell a story about a girl who is helping others. And then she decided for the kids in her school and homeless people. Maybe because in the city where the story is written in, there are a lot of homeless people. And the scriptwriter's daughter always wants to help them. So maybe she was inspired by her own daughter. I think she was. I actually think she told me that she was inspired by her own daughter. Okay, next question. Usually even the main characters have negative qualities in the films, but the main character practically doesn't. Why? I think you're right. I think usually main characters or everybody has negative qualities. In a way, I think really everybody in the world has not only good qualities, but maybe we shouldn't say good or bad. Maybe we should say has different qualities, and some of them feel good to yourself and some of them don't. But I think Raka also has to learn something, and she always says that she decides to not be scared, and I think that's a good quality, to kind of decide sometimes to not be scared. But she doesn't really know that sometimes it's very hard to decide to not be scared, and that is something she learns, that it's sometimes not so easy, because in that moment where her father has difficulties in space and she is not connected to him anymore, she is scared a lot. She is so scared, and after that she learned that being scared sometimes is something that just happens and that you kind of can deal with it, but sometimes it's so hard. So she has to learn that it's not always that easy, like she tells people, and people around her maybe learn that it can be a little bit easier than they think. So I think Raka has also a quality that is not so good, and that might be the quality that she just doesn't see, that it's not so easy sometimes what she wants to live and what she wants to be. And in the same time, it's a little bit like in very famous children's books, for example, like Pippi Longstockings. It's also sometimes very good to have a main character who is like you want to be, that you can have a role model and try to reach some of the goals this role model has. And Pippi Longstockings also doesn't have a lot of negative qualities, but we like her, and we really want to have the same freedom she has. So I think it's both. A little bit of these bad qualities appear, but not so many, you're right. Next question from Austria. Does Raka have something to do with our own childhood? You tell me, I'm not a child anymore, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I worked with these kids we have in the movie, and they told me it has a lot to do with their own childhood, because it happens a lot these days that kids bully each other with iPhones, with mobile phones, with Instagram, with chat groups, with whatever. So, and guys, this is happening since forever, so it's not only your childhood. It has to do with childhood, and it has to do with the possibility of standing up for each other. Another question from Austria. What I don't like, because it's not realistic, is that Caspar still owns a huge house at the beach. Why? I think the decision of the scriptwriter was to tell a little bit of a fairy tale, that there is the possibility for Caspar to really help people immediately, to really help the homeless immediately. So she invented a person who still owns a house that he can sell and have a lot of money to help the homeless. But I have to tell you that I also think it wasn't too realistic, and I would have liked it more if he would have had nothing and lost everything, and then decided in that moment to stand up and do his work again, be a lawyer, and really work for the people and work for himself. So this question is important, and I really like that you look at the film that critical, and I think both solutions are great. I think telling a fairy tale about a person who can really help in the end is great, but also it could have been great to have a Caspar who stands up and starts to work again and earns money. Okay, next question. Noah in Barcelona asks, was the squirrel real or made with special effects? Okay, the squirrel was real. We worked with a real squirrel. We had we had 2 or 3 of them who were the main stars. We had 3 of them because we really didn't want to stress them out. So if one squirrel got tired, we put it back, it could sleep, and then we brought another one in, and we worked with them. And in some scenes, maybe you saw it, it's not the real squirrel, it's a visual effects squirrel. That means it was animated. Okay, next question. I wish to pursue a career in film industry. What do I need to bear in mind when choosing my career options? You know what? If you want to pursue a career in the film industry, I don't know in which direction you want to go. If you want to be a director or actor or producer, there's so many amazing creative jobs in this industry. So you just try to find out what you like and start doing it. And don't be scared to make mistakes, because every mistake you make brings you closer to your goal. So maybe you just take your smartphone or the smartphone from your parents or whatever camera and start making movies, start making stop motion movies, start making, make your siblings act or play something. You start to act or play and film it and try. Just do it. Okay, a question from Latvia. How were so many plastic bottles collected for filming? Was there a donation campaign, or did the filmmakers buy lemonades and drink them? That's a great question. Nobody asked that before. Actually, everybody was told to bring their empty bottles, and the person who did the set design, I think she even went to supermarkets and asked if she could borrow the empty ones. I think that was how they made it. Okay, next question from Britain. Since social media plays such a big role in the film, I was wondering, do you think social media should play a bigger role in children's films? Yes, I think so. I think it is a big part of our lives, and I think it should play a bigger role, and it in that way that we try to find out what good part of our life it could be, because we already know how many bad parts it could play. It's about mobbing, about bullying, it's about being addicted to it. So maybe we could make movies about how social media could be a big gift to all of us. What do you think about that? Do you know any advantages of social media that could play a big part in making this world better? Question for you. Okay, another question. Which scene was the funniest to shoot? Okay, the funniest scene for the kids, that's what they told me, was the scene where they fall into the water, because that was a lot of fun. They were allowed to jump into the water. They rehearsing the scene was a lot of fun. So that was probably the funniest scene for them to shoot. The funniest scene for me, there were so many, but what was really funny when we shot the scenes with the squirrel, because it would never do what we wanted it to do. So it crawled on the camera and on the camera operator's head, and it made so many funny things. You even see in the movie. We put scenes in the movie from the squirrel we didn't plan, but it did such great things, so we did that. Next question. What will be the subject of your next film? The subject of my next film is also a very great world-changing topic. It's about a girl who finds out what her dream is in the world and how she could stick to it, and how it is to be your true self and stand up for your own thoughts and what you really want in the world. And she also finds out that sometimes you have to say no to things your parents say, for example. And in the beginning she's always doing what her mother says, and in the end she really is asking why, and she finds her own way of living, and that's amazing. And she really changes the world also, like Raka, but in a totally different way. I hope you will like it. Next question. How could you record the landing part of the plane and the parts of the satellite in space? So we didn't record that. That is all visual effects. So the plane landing, it's not a real plane. It's just the background is real, and then we with computers, we put the landing plane in there, also the squirrel. And the things in space, we also had true backgrounds the astronauts really shot in space, in the ISS. But we put the father of Raka in front of it and made it look like he is in there. That's what we did. Okay, next question. How did you come up with the idea of this film, which fits perfectly into the current situation? Okay, I didn't come up with the idea. I read a script a production company sent me, and the script was written by Hilly Martinek, and I really loved the character Raka, because I really like how she decided to be a person who is not scared. I really liked how she decided to ask questions people don't want to hear, and I really like how she gives everything, like she gives 100% to change what is not working where she is. So she really wants her classmates to be a big community of friends and not bully each other. And this is what I loved about the script, and I really wanted to help this come to life. So yeah, and how it fits in the current situation. I really think every situation is a situation where we can decide to change what is not working. So even in this current situation, not only Corona, but all the things you experienced before that in school, where people are not nice to each other or people don't treat each other well, you guys can always and ever decide to be and act like you want to be treated or like you want to act. So please keep changing the world. Everybody can do it. Really, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sending me your comments, and have a great day. Bye.